Some of the information in this video came from findagrave.com.
Fellowship Primitive Baptist Church over here in Shady Grove, Florida, and Cemetry. Wind's blowing a little bit. You just have to bear with me. Last time I was in this cemetery, it still had trees in the center. So I may not be able to find the ones that I know right because those trees were my way. We will walk through here and look for some people we might know, see if we see any veterans. Last time I was in this cemetery was about 10 years ago. This church, the last time I was in this church, my Uncle Chester, in the mid to late 80s, Chester Connell had passed, and this is where we had the service. Not even sure if the church is still used or not. Let's slip around and see if we can find a plaque that tells us an established date or something of that nature. That old ramp don't look like it's had no wheelchairs up it in quite some time. I'm not sure there. Got a women's bathroom. Fellowship Primitive Baptist. Got the men's bathroom on this side. I don't remember that part being here back then, but it may have been. Let's see if we can just look through the window here. We don't want to mess with the building itself, but I would love to see the inside. I would guess the old church is probably just used for temporary ceremonies. I don't know. I'm hoping we could see a window open. Maybe look through it. He's over here. See, this building may have been here, and I just don't remember it. Look at that old roof in it. Unless he's over to the cemetery. All the windows have got blinds on them, and I don't know if it's unlocked or not, but we ain't gonna mess with it. I was hoping to look through a window. I see he's over here. Before we get too started, I see there's a path going out to what looks like a memorial here. So let's slip out here and see what that is. Important dates for 2013. I've been there a while. We're heading over where you see that flagpole memorial. It is a veterans memorial in honor of all men and women who served our country in the armed forces. All gave some gave all. That is a very pretty flag. We don't know them all, but we owe them all. That's pretty neat to see something like that in an old primitive type cemetery. So I'm gonna just start, I guess, after I give you a pan in the back corner and work my way. And if I come to people I know are interested in headstone or veterans, we'll definitely stop. And I'll tell you what I know about them. It might just be their name. Even though the little sign says 2013, I'm assuming somebody still takes care of the cemetery. It looks good. They got this spot back here for putting stuff at that ain't no good. Let's get started. Let's take a little walk. There's gonna be a lot of Blantons in this cemetery. The Blantons go way back in Taylor County history and Shady Grove history. Freddie Fender, U.S. Air Force, died in 1976. Born in 1944. See the Blantons. Lucy Miller. There's a Blanton. Killed in action in Korea. Emery M. Blanton. Born in 1929 and killed in action in 1950.
He died as a POW in Korean conflict war. Mr. and Mrs. W.E. Blanton of Shady Grove were notified officially Sunday night that their son, Private Emery M. Blanton, was killed in Korea, a prisoner of war, October 20th. They had been notified previously that he had been captured July 27th.
There's another Blanton. Air Force, died in 2009. This whole section right here appears to be Blanton's. I love these old ones like this, the older style headstone. More decorative, more like a pillar. Andrew Sapp, died in 1915. We know it was at least here in 1915. There's another one. Got some concrete around it. Died in 1947. Got some Fulfords here. Died in 1896. Ernest. Now I always get confused, and I know a fella by this name. He's still living. He corrected me, and I don't remember which way I was saying it and got it wrong. Eakins or Akins? Mr. Ernest served in World War II in the U.S. Army Air Force, private first class. Passed in 2006. Mr. Leo Holden, SP5 U.S. Army, Vietnam, died in 2014. Benjamin Epps, private U.S. Army, World War II, died in 1993, born in 1917. Charlie H. Smith, Florida, private, 56th Infantry, 7th Division, World War I, died in 1936. World War I. A lot of these old ones over the years have been broke up. Pieces are still here though. You want to learn history? Walk in these cemeteries and look up some of these old ones and write them down. And start Googling them. That's how you come across history. Old Horace Tyson. Worked on the road around Old Horace. Construction work. He was a, I don't remember if he was a superintendent or a general foreman or a project manager when I worked around him a couple times. Did some digester work up in Oglethorpe one time. Worked for him. I don't remember where else. Tommy Forehand. I knew Mr. Tommy. U.S. Army, Vietnam. Check out that old cross. At one time it would have had a flag there too. You can see the flag holder. Made of about 3 layers. Somebody put a little time into that. It's pretty neat. Hamp Walker, I knew Mr. Hamp. I didn't know his wife though. Lots of these older, little simpler headstones. And you know, when you walk around here, don't just look at just for the old ones, because some of them's been replaced with newer headstones by family members. So it's good to look at the old ones, but look at some of them new ones too. You just never know what's laying there and done been replaced. There's a military. Another World War I. Malcolm T. Chasen, Florida Private, Company K, 4th Casual Regiment. World War I, born in 1897 and died in 1960. That's at least 2 World War I veterans we found in here that's marked. Seen one over here that's done caught my eye. Jackson Sapp, Company D, 2nd Florida Cavalry. There are 2 child markers next to Mr. Sapp. And over here, it says Minerva Gaines Strickland, Grice Carter Jackson Sapp, daughter of John Strickland and Elizabeth Popple. So I'm assuming that must have been his wife, but I don't know that. We'll have to see if we can find something on him. A Woodsman of the World statue. Alan Arnold. I love the look of those Woodsman of the World statues. Or headstones, I don't guess they're statues. But because of their sheer size and weight, even with that base, I've seen a lot of these turned over in cemeteries, whether it was limbs growing up against them, or just that they started sinking and the weight toppled them. Here's a survey marker. Fellowship Church Cemetery. It's got a plot number on it and all. Here's another Madison. Look at that in there. You can see the decoration that they put in the top of it with the pebbles and the broken glass. 2 of these right beside each other, both Maddoxes. This whole line is Maddox. Got another survey marker here. U.S. Coach and Geodetic Survey Benchmark, 1948, 1934. No, G48, 1934. Edwards with a Mason symbol. See, like this one. If you look at this, this is what I'm talking about. This is an old one. You can see the originals underneath. And somebody's come back and put a nice, prettier new headstone on top. So just because it looks new don't mean it's not an old one if you're doing any research. Here we got just a slab. No markings on it. Got another military over here. Joseph R. Rao, Company E, 11th Florida Infantry, Civil War. Born in 1826, died in 1896.
Private Joseph Rule Rowell, Company L, 2nd Florida Infantry. Enlisted on March 5, 1863. At Madison, Florida as a private, he mustered into E Company Florida 11th Infantry. He was surrendered on April 9, 1865 at Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia. He was listed as wounded February 20, 1865, Petersburg, Virginia.
You can see at some point in the past, a couple of these headstones are broke. They've been repaired at some point. See a Horner. Oh, Leonard Normal Horner. Yeah, I growed up part of my life in the neighborhood by them over off Bowden Avenue, off of Dice Lane. That's pretty cool. He was also in the Air Force and the Marine Corps in Korea. Died in 2014. Check out the old loader, loading the lumber on. Pretty neat. Donna Lee.
Donna entered into law enforcement as a young woman, starting her career of 20-plus years at the Alachua County Sheriff's Department. She then came to Perry and joined the Perry Police Department in 1993. After a few years, she then joined the Taylor County Sheriff's Department and was a long-time investigator for them.
Mike Knowles, U.S. Army Korea, October 2000. There's a small broken one. Fulford. Molly Irene Fulford. There's one where they cut down a tree. Charlie Fulford. That look like M.P. Morgan, Company C, 2nd Florida Cavalry. Let's see what that says. Francis Morgan. Looks like Company G, 2nd Florida Cavalry. There's another slab with nothing readable on it. Emily Day, Bryant Beagles. That's two nice ones there. Blanton, John B. Blanton. Company D, 5th Regiment, Florida Infantry, Confederate States Army, 1840 to 1907. As you can see, this service stone has been added to the side. This is actually his, I guess, his major stone. It's got his wife on it. She died about not quite 2 years later. Well, yeah, more than 2 years later. About 2 years later. Joshua J. Blanton. I can't tell if that says Company G or Company C, 2nd Florida Cavalry.
Joshua James was a member of James Coker's band before enlisting in the Civil War on April 6, 1864 in Company C, 2nd Florida Cavalry in Taylor County, as a refugee from the Confederacy. He was mustered out November 29, 1865 at Tallahassee. He was 5 feet 9 inches tall, blue eyes, brown hair and fair skin. His occupation stated as a farmer. He was listed as a musician in the Civil War. He was wounded at Chancellorsville, Virginia and received a pension. His brother Abraham B. Blanton enlisted at the same time, same company. Listed as a musician also.
Francis Lee Morgan, U.S. Army, 1937 to 2008. Wilson, oh, Udell Wilson. I knew Mr. Udell. Old Mr. Floyd, Sheffield. I can about see his car pulling up now, or his old truck he had at the feed store. Got some Smiths. Edward Winsberg? I can't pronounce that. Schwinsberg? Edward Schwinsberg, Pennsylvania. Tech 5, CMP, World War II, died in 1951. L.B. Smith, here's another World War I. Florida Corporal, 5th Service, Company S1GC, World War I, died in 1964. That looks a little different. It's kind of strange looking. What is that, coral? I'm guessing a piece of coral of some sort. And some Connells. Lonnie Connell. Now I knew Mr. Lonnie. That was my Uncle Chester's brother. Catherine. We should be in the right area where my Uncle Chester would be. That'll tell me the last time I've been. Here we go, right here. Chester F. Connell. Corporal, U.S. Army, Korea, died in 1985, January. So somewhere within the next week after that would have been the last time I was inside of that church. So that's where his funeral took place. He lived up here in Shady Grove, worked for DOT, I remember that much for sure. Used to grow a lot of corn. We used to come stay with him on the weekends, right up the road from here, matter of fact. Fish in the ditches. A lot of good times had over here. Oh, Uncle Chester. See some brick type. I'm assuming these are headstones. That's pretty neat. That's a Walker. Daniel Walker, 1994. Randy Wright. Yeah, I don't really see a name on this other brick one. It's got to be tied into the same family. I guess maybe Masons. Here's a plaque in front of it. Found the plaque in front of it, but I can't tell what it says. It says something G. Wright. So it would have probably been a Wright person too, if that plaque's in the right place. Thomas Wilson, died in 2004. U.S. Navy, World War II, died in 2004. Born in 1924. There's two more. Manley Walters, Sergeant U.S. Army, World War II, died in 1998. POW, Company H, 110th Infantry. William Carter. I do know a bunch of Carters. A lot of Carters in this area over here. I do some saw work here and there for some Carters. Lonnie Hudson. SP4 U.S. Army. Vietnam, died in 2006. Pretty headstone. Terrell, 2007. Some English. Golan, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. U.S. Navy, 1985. Frank English, U.S. Army Korea, 1999. Mr. Jimmy, I knew Mr. Jimmy, not on a real personal level, but I went to school with his daughter. I remember seeing him around. He used to come in the feed store a little bit. And his wife, Miss Brenda. Good family. They still got descendants here. Edward Wilson. Didn't know him that I know of. SP5 U.S. Army Vietnam, passed in 2010. Russell, R.C. Russell. I knew Mr. Russell. Know all his family. They still live over through this area, scattered out throughout the woods. And there are a lot more families in here than what I pointed out. You know, you can't about possibly do them all. But like some of the other cemeteries, some of these people will be touching on their history in the future. That pretty much concludes out here at Fellowship in Shady Grove, Florida. Thank you for watching.